What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday, and I say that from the best possible place, because not every day is extremely happy, especially in the world, especially in the collective, and especially in what I see going on in not only my own life, my personal life, but just things at play. And so I apologize if I don't show up for a few days. There's something I wanted to share with everybody, and one of those things is that there are things that happen behind the scenes that I don't share with everybody. And a part of that is that when I had quit smoking cigarettes and chose a different life path and coming back to America, I had faced a lot. Things that I needed to continue to unpack from my journey. And a part of this has been still processing out the diagnoses and labels that I've carried since I was a child. And one of those things is post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as bipolar type 2. And I share that from a space of vulnerability, because I think it's important to reduce the stigma over the people that live with these things, but live with them outside of medications. So my body, especially post everything that's happened in the world, I'm talking about the energies post-pandemic. I talk about post all these experiences, years under my belt of sobriety, and trying to do what I can to take care of myself. Is my body, my endocrine system, my energy body is still learning how to sustain and maintain through influxes. I still have Akashic memory that brings in traumatic flashbacks. I still have things that I move through in my physical body that are traumatic. I still have collective energies and grids and things like this that I work through that are quite traumatic. And, I had one happen the other day, actually. And it was this whole kind of it was about 3 days ago. I had a Christian and Roman Catholic war kind of play out. And as a result, I could feel the effects. And then today I woke up and we saw what happened over, in the world and that whole situation, and recognizing there's these collective ripples and pockets of experience that bleed through into our collective. And I do what I can to stay away from the bleed through, to step away from, those experiences, but I can no longer silo, hide, or isolate from the fact that these experiences still play out, and we do what we can to not play in the experiences, to play in the agenda, but to know that they still do have a very big effect on our body, on our fields, on our health, and on our emotional bodies as well, on our own light body, on our subtle bodies. And so, as a result, I share this because there's a lot of days I don't want to show up because I'm scared. I don't want to show up because I'm very energetically sensitive, and I'm kind of an energetic hypochondriac, and I'll admit that fully. And so as a result, I always kind of feel a little bit, I guess we could say scared to show up, especially when there's been so much happening in the whistleblower community, that there are people who, I'll say for myself, I do my best to show up in my highest light, in my brightest truth, in my most loving, interdimensional connection, most loving, spiritual, soul, hopeful space. But within me, there's still a lot processing out. My inner truth, my inner space is still processing a lot out. It's still figuring it out. It's going through distorted core value systems and really uprooting those. And that's what I've been talking a lot about core value systems. And core value systems, to me, especially in regards to post-traumatic stress disorder, is basically a very complex set of systems built on belief systems as an inner child. And as a result, the more that I woke up and the more that I started to relabel and reframe, started to see a lot going on. And then once I took all those labels and identities out of the light worker, the empath, the galactic, the guru, the mission, and all these things, I was left with my human. And that human showed me a lot in regards to emotional traumas, wounds, things like codependency, things like this that I've been healing, because basically all the relationships in my life brought to the surface a moment for me to silo and to sequester myself. And within that silo and sequester was the opportunity to see myself fully. And so there are days where I'm still processing really heavy traumas, weird experiences in the grids, processing things interdimensionally I don't really talk about. And as a result, some days are harder than the rest. And as a result, it's tougher to show up. And so I do that because I like to give back. I like to share. I love to be in my passion. I love to be in my hope, but some days it's not easy. And so I wanted to share that as a reflection to remind you that you're not alone if it's not easy to show up for people, to show up in your community, to show up doing what you love to do. You know, some of us hit passageways of time that are harder to deal with than others, and not all of it is just go to the guru or sage yourself or do that thing and it feels better. There's still an entire biochemical process that the body goes through that's a part of solar influxes. It's a part of, you know, healing older journeys. It's a part of repair. It's a part of the fact that not everyone wants to support an institutional network in the lightworker community, yet some of us are still healing those very institutions in our body. We're still healing those dogmas, we're still healing those belief systems, and we're healing those rules of our journey. And as a result, it's like, many have talked about it as the powers that were and the powers that are. And a lot of this, you know, from my journey is to do what I can to reduce the intellectualizing over what's right and wrong in the journey moving forward, but what's more authentically aligned. And for me, like, I love doing tarot. I love pulling cards, I love being who I am, but it's energetically, it can get very difficult if I'm processing that. It can be very difficult when things get very loud, when I don't have a healthy sense of connection to who I am. And when we're going through a lot of influxes, you know, some days I don't show up. So I wanted to share that as a brief explanation, because somebody in me said, share this today. Share it from a space of love, share it from a place of healthiness, and from a place of vulnerability, because this is not about performing. It's reducing anxiety in that which we choose to face, which is, you know, clearing our own shadows, clearing our life paths, and stepping into a version of our journey, or you know, our own journey that feels good for us and feels aligned and feels hopeful. And for myself, raw vulnerability is important, but I've also seen where that's been weaponized and used against us. And so the first thing I ask of you is if my truth at all gets thrown back at me as some sort of weapon, you know, we give it to source, we give it to love, and I ask you, you know, from the most level sense of politeness, unsubscribe. If you don't like what I do, don't like what I do to share, doesn't resonate, just click unsubscribe. It's okay. Nothing wrong with it. I do it. Sometimes I go, you know what, chapter's done here. Just walk away. Instead of, you know, always in the backlash of an energy story, it's okay to walk away. There's freedom and liberation in that, and as a freedom worker, it's really important to be able to know when to walk away. All right, guys. So today I wanted to do a reading. I wanted to do a reading because it felt important to show up. I was doing my stretches and I was doing my yoga exercise because I'm moving through so much. And it was basically kind of the message was like, be okay going through your prophecy, be okay in your skill sets, be okay in your divinity, be okay in your ability to read, be okay in this, because sometimes the world's going through a lot, or we're personally going through a lot. So some days just stepping into ourself, stepping into our authenticity is really important. So we're going to read today. We're going to do a quick little reading for our little beloved YouTube collective. Messages for us. All right. What wants to come forward? What are we reading for today? First off, who's the significator? So we're going to pull a significator to see who or what we're reading for. Universe. What are we reading for today? Who are we reading for? Someone needs to slow down. Take a moment to pause. There we go. Ooh. Giving back. Giving back. So this is actually for those who are giving back, people who are in active service. This is for those that have some sort of resource that they provide to others, something that brings balance, a sense of give and take, a sense of reciprocity. This is going to be something that's a part of your human experience. It's a part of your life path. Whether this is, you know, caregiving roles, whether this is giving to the needy. Six of Pentacles is always speaking about where you can bring a sense of fulfillment and balance into the world. This is for you and your perfect opportunity. For this space, you are the one that can provide some sort of balance, whether it's love, levity, healing advice, health, tips, Money, there is something that you give that bestows balance in the world, in the collective, and in your experience. Alrighty. For those who align with the space of integrity balance that provides equilibrium in their world and in their day-to-day life, message here. Whether to go left or to go right, there's something within that's about asking you to step really internally about what to do in this situation. So when you recognize, like, yeah, I've got something that I can do here, something I can provide, something that I can help with, right? Two of Swords, the blocking the ability to know what to do is because there's something internally that you need to listen to, something you haven't been privy to. Perhaps there's a blind spot that the universe is asking you to listen to, that's opening up an opportunity to understand something about the unconscious self in regards to how you take action and how you move, perhaps what you share and what you receive in your journey, especially in regards to resources. Here we go, the Empress, right? I do feel like this is the inability to actually just rest, the inability to pause, the inability to be. It very much so is kind of activating a sense of where you can be in a space of inaction and be okay being provided for in this experience as well. So the Empress, such a being, such a nurturing energy, it's stating that for the long haul, for the long run, in regards to sustainability in your life path, it's really important to take care of yourself. So when we balance our give and take in our journey, our ability to do what we do, it's like stagnation asks you to go within, or inability to make decision, a space of inaction, asks you to be okay with your being space, to neutralize the polarity over the contrast, over what's really occurring, these oppositions that create a stalemate, so you can really learn to take care of yourself. The Empress is bringing in that ability to really nurture, to care, to love thyself, to nurture thyself, and to recognize that there is active service work in taking care of yourself, whether this is stretching your body, putting lotion on your skin, a self-love routine. Everything about the Empress is kind of showing up with a little bit more of the morality of the goddess energy, and in a way that gives you an opportunity to learn about self-care. You know, this provides us an opportunity to give back to ourselves, to give back ourselves in a new way, and to treat ourselves with a healthy level of importance. You know, when I see Six of Pentacles and I see life and I see this importance and I see the Empress holding this royal crown, kind of this like divine royalty experience, there's a level of understanding that your reality, your life path, your purpose is important. As you are a part of that, as your health is a part of that, as your material world and your material realm, your 3D life is a part of that, the Empress is saying take care of that material life. Take care of what that is, whether it's the body, it's the action steps you take, it's what you provide for the reality. You know, a lot of this really reminds me of, like, make that phone call, right? Reach out to that friend, answer that text message, go say hi to that person. Take care of yourself, take care of others, be kind, be gentle, be relaxed, be soft, be loving, be kind. All of this envelops an active role of service work and purpose, because sometimes it's not about like the mission, it's not about what you do, it's about how much you care. And so sometimes that reciprocal energy of caring about yourself reflects outward in how you care about other people. So once again, there is something here that is a natural trickle-down effect in our world. And that's because the Six of Pentacles is showing us what that trickle-down effect. It's like when you are the center point here and you care about yourself, this ripples out into the collective. So we're kind of seeing this inability to move is actually the ability to care about a deeper sense of self that is reflecting something from within. First off, okay, the Empress also speaks about mother and birthing. Gestating and birthing something in your reality, in your life path, any form of creation takes time. It's a process. It's like the moment that the moment that the bread is in the oven isn't the moment that it comes out. So your moment to shine will return again. There's just moments for you to really step into what that self-love and self-care routine is, because it's about taking care of the inner experience. You know, sometimes this I'm not sure what to do really helps to go within and reflect on everything you do have. Reflect on your gratitude. Reflect on that which is available to you. Reflect on the good things about your life so you can start creating some momentum over what it's like to have a quantum ripple and to learn to take care of your own reality. So right now, for those in active service, you are learning how to take care of your own reality, which is yours. It's your reality, no one else's. There we go. There's that Nine of Cups. There's that sense of self-love. There's that sense of achievement. I think there's a sense of reframing the way we see how far we've come and our own achievements. The Empress is very adorned, right? The Empress she, in the material world and in this card, shows her level of adornment. And in some ways, and in some matters of fact, we might not be able to fully adorn ourselves in the cloak of the Empress in the way that we would want to, especially if you have anything going on financially. But Two of Swords is speaking of what the inner truth is. Once again, can't go left, can't go right, blinds closed. Why? Because there's an inner journey. So there's an inner Empress to reflect on, which is looking at the achievements, looking at how far you've come, looking at everything you do have, looking at your own emotional well-being, because right now that's a part of what the stagnation period is. Once again, core value system upgrade. It's really about seeing and embodying what this nurturing, caring, loving Empress energy is and the emotional fulfillment of that, so you can really step into what it is to be this. So this isn't about a space of inaction right now. It's not about what you can or can't do. It's about embodying the positive trajectory, which is about how far you've come, looking at your achievements, looking at everything you do have. When I see that there is kind of a sense of seeing the Two of Swords and Nine of Cups as one of the same, it's what we see in the external reality versus what we see in the internal reality. And if you see, they both have their arms crossed, right? So it's like sometimes your inaction is actually your happy place. Your inability to move is actually where your freedom and liberation lies. You're not knowing whether to go left or go right, not sure what to do, unable to really quite get that level of clarity that you need. It's about how you feel about your experience. And so in a sense, when we see that the Two of Swords and the Nine of Cups are both crossed armed, when we drop the swords and get to the cups, which means when we get out of air, intellectualizing, or overthinking, and we get into a place of how we feel, we're getting into the space of where we feel into our own physical reciprocity in our journey. And a part of this internal balance is about how you feel about your situation, how you feel about yourself, and how you feel engaging with self-love. So right now, in the service work world, this is about caring about yourself. This is about self-love. Your alignment comes from the place of how you take care of yourself. Your emotional fulfillment is built upon how much you can give and receive in your own physical reality, how can you care for yourself, and how you can care for your inner journey. This moment of not knowing what to do is actually your moment to see everything you do have. Like, it's that moment to really fill and fulfill your wishes, to feel emotionally healthy, to feel emotionally balanced, to feel like there are these moments in our journey, and how do I put this? I've run into these moments in my own journey, and they've kind of shown up as pit stops, not pitfalls. So sometimes we have these moments, like, if we look at longevity in, Daytona 500, right? So we have pit stops, and those pit stops are moments to refill. It's moments to requite. It's a moment to take care of thyself. It's a moment to really step into self-nurture and self-care, because you're getting all the bearings and gears moving for what the next is. So perhaps your stagnancy or your stopping point isn't that you're stuck, but it's where you start to re-lubricate, right? The joints, the body, the emotions, everything, to feel like you can get into a space of fulfillment in your own journey. So the stagnancy is the moment of energetic reciprocity, so fluidity can open up, so you can really feel into your self-worth and self-value. So this is basically saying, look at the emotional reframe, take care of yourself, and start fulfilling your own cups, and look at that which you do have. Once again, it's about the inner, not the external. So when we look at this kind of paradigm shift movement, it's not about everything that you have on the external, but everything available from within. Your universe is asking you to tap into everything you have from within and be from that space, do from that space, and share from that space. So this is about reharnessing or regaining your self-love, regaining, reharnessing yourself, your sense of self-achievement, and giving yourself a pat on the back, because you really do deserve it, especially in regards to how we start to drop our defenses, or how we see how polarities intertwine with our inability to move. We look at cross purposes, right? We look at belief systems that are yes and no's. We look at, a very binary way of doing that might feel conflicting or stagnant for ourselves. This is your opportunity to really look into your own emotional surrender, your own well-being, and to operate from that space. And so today, this is a reminder that what you do when you come from love is actually important, especially in regards to the reality, in regards to your day-to-day, in regards to your home, land, and finances. You taking care of yourself and you focusing on self-love is important, especially in regards to the balance and integrity that's a part of your service work and your journey moving forward. A complete reframe here. This to me assists in really reclaiming that, like, the service to the Law of One mission rests in the laurels of that you are a part of that one. And since you are a part of that one, you taking care of yourself is important. That's not service to self. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. So it really feels like, in regards to this, is that don't give from a half cup, don't give from a quarter cup, always give from a whole cup, and look at everything that you have. Look at how far you've come in your journey. Celebrate your rewards, celebrate that which you do have available, celebrate your self-love, and adorn yourself in all those good feelings, because you truly do deserve it. Okay, especially in regards to so much going on in the world. It's stand proud of being where you're at, who you are. Especially if there's something you can give back to the world, give back to that caring, nurturing, and loving place, because it's really important right now. One more card, please, universe. One more card, final message here. There we go. And then walk forward with love, Knight of Cups. Walk forward with love, walk forward as love. So when you go within and you nurture and care for that inner space, that inner journey, that inner truth, and you take care of yourself, there's something you're going to find. Whatever that inner truth, that inner love, that inner light is, this is what you walk forward with. So this is an essence of a form of soul retrieval, of a level of soul embodiment, a level of going within and reclaiming your source, reclaiming your love, reclaiming your self-worth, taking advantage of this moment, not taking advantage of others, but taking advantage of this moment to reclaim respite in your inner condition so you can move forward with that love. So all of this is building up to a really beautiful future, and in the action steps you take, you're gonna come from a different place. So these moments of pause are moments of reflection and reconnection for you to reclaim a healthy sense of compassion, love, good emotional wealth and worth in your journey to walk forward with this. What I want to focus on is the aura around the cup and the aura around the being. There is no separation here from this experience of good journeys ahead and good movement moving forward and good emotions to come. The compassion that you hold for self is the compassion that you hold for others. And so this is about reinvesting in your heart, reinvesting in your love. So when we get back into that movement forward, that motivation, we're coming from a completely new place. There's so much here that I'm seeing with the aura of the Empress around her crown, the aura of the cups, right, which is, that reflection state, what our crown, our intelligence, our source intelligence is telling us, and then also the interconnectedness of the Knight's aura with the aura of the cup. So when you are reclaiming your inner wealth, when you are reclaiming your inner worth, when you are reclaiming your inner chalice, reclaim your inner chalice and walk forward with it. There's reciprocity in the new life path of giving and receiving in active service, and a part of this is to go within, care for the inner journey, reclaim your chalice, and move forward with what this embodied is bringing forward. The 9 is a 1, the 1 is the 9. So we kind of have this gestalt, kind of an experience, which is, the one, the whole, is better than the sum of all parts, but all of these parts reclaimed of you, all of these experiences, all these trophies, all these adornments, all of these well wishes, all of this good fortune here, all of this good feeling is something that comes back into that single chalice of the soul, the single chalice of that source. It comes back to that oneness of you, and you carry this with you. So there's an essential form of embodiment here, which is go within and take care of the inner truth, and you're going to unlock a new level of freedom and a new level of flow in your own journey. And all of this kind of scattered oceanic energy in the background, the vastness of the experience, will turn into a form of singularity, which is your own life path, your own journey moving forward. It feels like we're going to take all of this stuff and it's going to come into a very universal and formidable pathway that creates direction or movement that will make sense to you. You know, this to me feels like, in the vastness of the universe and the expansion of the universal experience and in the expansion of you, there's something about the reclamation of your own emotional well-being that's really going to take all of this kind of scattered experience, and it's going to put it into something that really dials in, retunes and refines you, and it's going to be very easy on the journey moving forward. I feel like it's something that's going to complement your life path, it's going to complement a good feeling, and it's going to feel more aligned with your truth, with your authenticity, and with your own source point of reclamation. So this is reclaiming your inner chalice of love, your inner chalice of light, your inner chalice of healing, your inner chalice of compassion, and you will be able to flow forward in a completely new and different way. It feels like this is something that I've seen, is that with so much freedom, so much liberation, where do you go? Well, this is the retuning of the compass, retuning of the trajectory, and retuning of the ascension, so your own north node feels complementary to your own life path, and that which you walk, that which you embody, and that which you carry moving forward. So I love you guys. Much love and respect to all of you out there. Thank you for your likes, shares, and subscribes. It does seem like that this experience of your own inner truth and releasing yourself from the veils or perception of where you're at to where you're headed is really going to unlock a new flow for you, for others, and for the reality. So you are a part of the greater whole. You are a part of this greater experience. You are one fractal of source in the greater momentum and in the greater journey. So the impact you have in self-care and self-love actually has a profound impact in collective trajectories. And so it's really interesting as we see this kind of energy of collective, this energy of others, this energy of togetherness and of service. There's so much here focused on the self within this, the self, the redefining of self within that space, the self-worth and the self-love, and then the self as it moves forward. And so there's nothing selfish in self-love, in self-care, in self-nurture of your entire beingness. So you can really reclaim how important it is, even in the smaller fractals, in the smaller aspects of life, that there's still importance within that. So it doesn't always have to be big, great, or grand stage to be important. There's importance in the subtleties. All right, love you guys, and with that, I'll see you soon. Namaste.